In this video, I'd like to show you something if you like to have something different from the typical AR-15s or the AK style weapons you always see everybody have. And again, a reminder, if you haven't already watched it, and this is the first of my videos you've watched, please watch my firearm safety video. I always keep a link in the description of my videos. Alright, so if you're wondering what this thing is that's strapped to my body, this is it's an FAL style rifle. People hate it when you pronounce FAL, because apparently if you pronounce NASA, that's wrong too. But anyway, so this is FAL style rifle. It's actually made by DS Arms. That's the company that makes it. And they have all different flavors of the FAL style rifles. They even make AR-15 style rifles, but this is a rifle that shoots the 7.62 by 51 NATO round, or otherwise known as the 308 Winchester. And it was the main battle rifle for a lot of countries, a lot of NATO countries back in the day. America chose to go with the M14 instead because of the I guess it's probably the company that makes it was American, and they'd rather go with that. But as you see now, they're actually going to FN for their next coming main battle rifle, the SCAR. But yeah, this is actually a very different system than what you're probably used to. There's some similarities. Obviously, it has a pistol grip, has the trigger guard, the ejection ports on the right side, just like all the other ones. Now, this is where it starts to differ. If you're familiar with the M16 or AR-15 style rifles, you will know that the charging handle is back here, and they make it that way so that it's kind of ambidextrous. You can reach it from either side. On the FAL style rifles, they have it on the left side, which, I mean, you can argue that it makes it less ambidextrous, but then you can say the same thing about all the other rifles in the world that has a charging handle on the right side. For me, if I had to pick between having a charging handle on the right side or the left side, I mean, if it's ambidextrous, obviously that's the #1 choice, but if that's not the case and you either pick between the right or the left, I definitely would prefer the left, because then you can operate it with your non-shooting hand. You don't have to take this out or tilt the weapon, anything like that. You know, you just go ahead and grab it with your support hand without having to turn it over or anything like that. So, and regarding the charging handle, it's a non-reciprocating charging handle, meaning that as the bolt moves back from your firing, the charging handle actually does not move. It stays forward. It operates separate from the bolt itself. They call that a non-reciprocating. Reciprocating would be obviously the opposite, whereas the bolt moves back, so does the charging handle. Examples of each would be AR-15s and M16s are also non-reciprocating charging handles. The charging handle back stays in place as you fire. A popular example of a reciprocating charging handle is that of AK style rifles. Either the original AK-47s, the AKMs, or any of these new AK style rifles that's come after that. They use reciprocating charging handles, and so does the M14. It has a reciprocating charging handle. The whole mechanism moves all together. Now, the benefit that I see with a non-reciprocating is that there's less mass moving as you shoot. It's just the bolt. It's not like the entire mechanism, the entire gas rod and things like that, like with some of these other rifles. The way that benefits you is that since there's less mass moving back at you at every shot, there's a little bit less felt recoil. If you fire this rifle versus an M14, let's say, which both of them uses the exact same ammunition, you would notice that the recoil on this is a lot lighter than the recoil in an M14, and one of the biggest reasons is because of all of that mass moving back with every shot, because the whole charging handle and the gas rod and everything moves back with the M14 along with the bolt. And some more similarities is the safety switch on this is on the left side here is a little lever, same way as an M16 style rifle. And And then back to the differences is to release the bolt when it's locked. It's not a lever. It's not like a little lever or a little nipple or whatever you want to call it on the frame of the weapon that you would slap or hit. Instead, it's a small little lever here. I don't know, I think it's kind of dark, but you should hopefully be able to see it. I can't see the previous screen that well. But it's like a little lever that's right here behind the magazine. That might seem kind of odd, but the reason for that is that when you're reloading, after you load the new magazine, your thumb is right there. Oh man, my sling's in the way. Basically, after you reload, your thumb is right there. So then from there, you just pull it down, and that loads the next round. It's actually a pretty clever thing, but I think right now, especially if you're going to be talking about weapons that are used by the military, everybody's so familiar with the M16 style that sticking to those same ways of operating it, which this FN SCAR did, and I think that's the reason why that they were able to get the contract for that. They use the same magazines, the same controls. You know, there's no reason to deviate from that now because it's pretty, I guess, tried and true. A lot of people around the world know how to operate M16s and that kind of mechanism. So, you know, I'm not going to argue which one is better, but this is definitely a pretty clever way of doing it as well. You know, and then I'm not sure you're able to see it, but another deviation is that instead of having a button to release the magazine, there's actually a lever here that's right behind the magazine. That's very similar to like the AK style rifles. This lever, you can either operate it like this, or if you have a longer trigger finger, you can, you know, just push it forward with that. But you know, either way, that comes out and it hooks in pretty similarly to like an M14 style magazine, where you have to hook the front and then you just rock the back. But I find it a lot easier between this and the M14 to get the magazine seated correctly. The M14, I found that, like, especially if you're rushing it, you end up missing the hook a lot. But this seems to hook on pretty easily the first try. And regarding other aspects of this style rifle, the one good thing about it is that it doesn't use that same kind of buffer tube system of the AR-15 M16, so that kind of allows for this, a foldable stock, which is kind of you know, nice for transportation and things like that. The shooting is very smooth. There's an adjustable gas. The gas block is adjustable, so you can adjust how much of the gas is channeled back to cycling the next round. So you can, you know, increase it just enough to where it's enough to do it, but not so much that it pushes the bolt back really hard, which would be a little bit more stressful to the weapon. And in terms of accuracy, I would have to say that the AR-15 M16 style and even M14 is better in terms of accuracy, and it's due to the way the mechanism locks, like the locking mechanism of the bolt. With this one, well, there's no way I can really show you. With this one, the bolt actually I could just open it up. The bolt drops down in order to lock into the chamber to lock the round in. So it kind of relies on just gravity to achieve that. When it comes to the M16 style weapons or the M14, they have a system where the bolt actually rotates, and there's lugs that will go behind some locking lugs in the receiver, and that mechanism locks the bolt to place a little bit better from what I've seen. As you can see, taking down the weapon is actually very easy on this. There's a really convenient lever that you just press, and then the whole thing unfolds like a what do you call those shotguns, that the break action shotguns.
So with this style of weapon, the when a bolt carrier and a bolt locks into place, it kind of just drops down into like a lock position with the breech, versus the M14 and the AR-15 actually has these locking lugs that, and the receiver has this kind of like the same, well, the opposite of the lugs. So when they go in there and it twists, it locks that breech a lot tighter than this mechanism would. And I think that's something that contributes to the reason why typically, I'm not saying that it's an inaccurate firearm. Very well built FAL, such as these from DS Arms, are very accurate actually. But I find if you want to just kind of talk about the maximum accuracy between the two types of firearms possible, I would say that with the M14 or the AR-15 style rifles with that type of locking mechanism in the bolt, they're probably a little bit more accurate in those terms. And reassembling this style weapon is very easy as well. Just make sure the magazine is out. Just go ahead and take this whole bolt assembly and just drop that right back in there. And then the spring and the guide, go ahead and make sure it gets into the right groove. Right there. Lock that spring into place, and that's it. And it's already check the function. Everything is good. And so, one thing I forgot to show you is if you want to manually lock the bolt back, that same lever that I showed before for releasing the bolt, you can go ahead and you have to use that same lever. When you're pulling the bolt back, you just push up onto it instead of pulling down. So push up on it, and now the bolt is locked to the rear. All in all, I've been very happy with this DS Arms. I've had it for many years now, and it shoots very, very nicely, very smooth, and it just looks really awesome too. That's another thing. Having the whole rail system though does make it a lot heavier. I've held other FAL style rifles that didn't have this, that had the regular plastic foregrip. Same with the AR-15. Once you start putting these rails on there, it definitely does add to the weight to it. I believe they do make lighter weight versions nowadays, and also I've seen that they have made a attachment on here that allows for like an AR-15 style buttstock that you can, the adjustable ones that you can buy any AR-15 buttstock and stick it on there, which I kind of wish they had that option back when I bought this, but yeah, maybe one day I might buy that and put it on here. But having the foldable buttstock is pretty cool. But even the new ones with the AR-15 style buttstock, it still folds. They basically attach the buffer tube to this folding mechanism, so you can attach AR-15 buttstock to it. But yeah, so basically that's it. That's the let me get back in the light. The DS Arms SA58 is what they call it. Shoots 308 or 7.62 by 51 needle, as I stated before. And all this paint job that you see on here, this is a Duracoat that's actually done in factory. They do offer that option when you're purchasing the rifles. You can pick the Duracoat and any kind of, there's a whole multitude of patterns too. They got different camouflage patterns. They got some that would match, the standard military uniforms and things like that. So it's It's pretty cool and it's been pretty tough. I don't notice any nicks on it yet, and I've been shooting it for a while. And another good advantage of this style of rifle too is the magazines are relatively cheap because of how widespread this rifle was. You can actually find magazines for them for, I'll say like about $20 now, somewhere around there. Back before, I think you were able to find them from like $5 to $15, but you know, the prices of everything in terms of firearms have gone up. But you know, compared to something like an AR-10, their magazines are like $50 to $100. I mean, like, it's crazy. Like, I don't even know where it's at right now, but it's way too much. You know, I wouldn't want to own a rifle purely for that reason. You know, like, to try to get magazines for it would be breaking the bank. But yeah, so I hope you enjoyed the video I have on this DSA, the DS Arms SA58 or FAL style rifle, and thank you for watching my videos.